am Sato, the creator of Sato-style lymphatic care. Today, I want to share something that people who are struggling need to see. I would like to talk about a method to overwhelmingly eliminate bad breath. I have been specializing in halitosis treatment at the dentist for nearly 20 years. I often attended seminars on halitosis treatment. I myself had bad breath, and my wife pointed it out to me. What happened afterward is also important, and I would like to talk about that as well. There is also a way to completely eliminate it, which is overwhelmingly effective. I would like to share more about that as well. It's quite a deep-rooted issue, so please make sure to watch until the end. The topic of bad breath comes up, and it relates to what rises from the stomach. I often say that's not the case, is it? It's not. What I've eaten comes back up. If you eat curry and burp, the smell will linger for a while. However, the smell itself doesn't rise from the stomach. It's actually coming from the throat area. It means that bacteria are becoming active and multiplying deep in the throat. Generally, it's about preventing common bad breath. I guess recovery methods include eating breath care products. I have the image of sucking on tablets. But is that not very effective? I think it's safe to say it has almost no effect. People who have problems with their teeth need to properly clean them, but that's the point. First of all, there's bad breath, and there's something called barokoki, which is not using a toothbrush but rather tongue scraping. Tongue scraping is something you should absolutely not do. It's definitely a bad idea. There are people who take care of their teeth every day. Also, many dentists say it's fine to use specialized tools, but that's also something you should not do. Even specialized tools can be too strong. The mucous membrane of the mouth can be collected by swabbing with a cotton swab when taking DNA samples. Membrane. While this method can remove the white stuff, it can also cause it to become bright red and lead to inflammation. In most cases, this is definitely not good. It's not allowed. A little bit of whiteness is normal. The problem arises when the mucous membranes become invisible. They may turn white or black. Turning yellow is also a no-go. In that case, bacteria are proliferating significantly, leading to the formation of what is called a tonsil stone. It's a buildup of something like white blood cell debris, which is referred to as a smelly ball. There are times when it can have an odor. If that weren't the case, it would be a story about how bacteria are thriving in places that are almost unreachable, like way back on the tongue. Even if we say it's on the tongue, to get rid of that, what you need is rice. Rice? Yes, it's rice. I did it too, you know. First, eat the chocolate to turn your tongue brown. After turning it brown, brush your teeth well, rinse thoroughly. And when you say "B," it will still be covered in it. This can also cause cavities. This is not about the amount of sugar. Even if the sugar is diluted, it stays in the mouth for a long time, allowing bacteria to break it down and oxidize. It oxidizes. Gargling with baking soda is really good, though. This is a different story from bad breath. Naturally, as bacteria break down, the number of bacteria increases. What's really important is that chewing rice helps to clean the back of the tongue, making it truly clean. Why is that? It sticks together with seaweed. Then, due to swallowing, it gets pushed against the uvula. And that's what it's like. Also, offerings to the gods are referred to as divine objects. All of this helps to eliminate bad breath. These are things that can be displayed during the groundbreaking ceremony, starting with then there are kelp and dried squid, and also root vegetables. I'm also mentioning this in the section about foods that promote health. In the morning, you should chew well. If you don't chew in the morning, even if you brush your teeth, your mouth will be full of bacteria. Is that so? Most people, yes, it is, don't really know this. The number of bacteria is the lowest after meals. The bacteria are at their lowest after eating. This is because chewing and swallowing almost completely eliminate them. Brushing your teeth after a meal is just about removing food residues. Brush your teeth in the morning before meals. And it's Japanese food that involves chewing well. It's rice that has as much moisture as possible and is hard. It's root vegetables. Chew things like this well. Salad is fine too, but it's about chewing things like that, and also seaweed. Seaweed is starch. Rice becomes sticky when chewed in the mouth. When rice enters a fairly cleaned area after solid, well-chewed fibrous food has passed through. It can really cut the tongue. It leads to a cleaner throat and makes it less likely for bad breath to linger. Furthermore, the one I'm particularly interested in is kombu. Just cut it into 1 centimeter squares. Put it in a pouch and carry it around to lick after meals. Kombu doesn't dissolve, right? So you can just keep it in your mouth. I mistakenly try to dissolve it, thinking it's the candy I've been sucking on for a long time. So, if I keep sucking on it and stick it to the roof of my mouth, I can do it for about 20 pieces. But if I overdo it, it can cause inflammation. However, kelp contains fucoidan, which is a glycoprotein that helps regulate and protect the mucous membranes. So that kind of fucoidan is really good. Kelp itself also has the effect of eliminating odors. I just want to point out that 90% of people who are worried about bad breath actually don't have it. What do you mean by that? This is the first time I've heard of something called olfactory reference syndrome. It would be good if you could look into this a bit. Bad breath is not multifaceted. I fell into it too. I went for bad breath treatment because I had bad breath, and the values for bad breath are almost completely unreliable when measured with a machine like a breath checker. We bought a 1 million yen bad breath machine and compared it to a gas chromatography breath checker. But there was absolutely no correlation. You need to measure with a machine that costs over 1 million yen for it to be effective at all. Generally speaking, you can think that devices around 5,000 yen are completely ineffective. Even devices costing several 100,000 yen, unless they use gas chromatography, you can hardly measure bad breath. What's really important is that you can sense the smell yourself. For example, there are people who can't feel satisfied unless they've washed their hands because they have a compulsive disorder. That means the bacteria are eliminated when you wash it. When you wipe it with soap and water and let it dry, it has a soapy smell, right? It's the same with brushing your teeth when you do it like that. The smell of the toothpaste has a refreshing scent. So even if I take a deep breath for a moment, I can't smell it. However, I don't smoke. People who don't smoke tend to be sensitive to the smell of cigarettes. There are 100 people smoking. I don't smoke. When I entered the room with 100 people, no one was smoking, but it smelled strongly of tobacco. I see, you understand, right? I've gotten used to the smell of cigarettes. So even if someone who smokes comes in, I wouldn't say it smells like cigarettes. Well, it's not at all. But when a non-smoker it really comes bothers me. It's so smelly that I can't stand it. Sometimes there is a cigarette smell in hotels. I requested a non-smoking room, but it smells really bad. It's quite common to have a lingering sense that this used to be a smoking area, and smokers are completely unaware of it because they constantly smell the smoke. When someone who has washed themselves catches a whiff, they start to notice the scent of their own skin. Is that so? Yes, it is. Oh, so that's why you become sensitive and end up acting like a dog by always smelling my own breath. I've fallen into that situation. What happened by constantly measuring with 1 million machines is that I started to sense my own smell. It's something that I originally shouldn't feel. People who smell don't realize it. When others come around, there are people who are hurt when told they smell, perhaps because they were told so once in childhood. Those who were told they smell at 17 are often hurt. They have little way to confirm if they actually smell, so they are constantly sniffing themselves. Brush your teeth with all your might. If you do that, your mucous membranes will get rough. And when they do, a bit of odor will start to come out. When you use toothpaste and brush well, the odor can become quite strong. But it's not at a level that people can really notice. Even when measured by a machine, it's still OOO. Ordinary people don't reach OOO, it's because when they do, they break down, right? I'm always told this, but that's not the case. It's not that it's broken. It's that you smell. What's really important is that I'm always checking if I smell bad. When someone nearby sniffs, I can't help but think it's because I smell. I tend to overthink it in that way. In that case, I'm the same way I can smell myself. I can really sense the smell. Then I end up talking like this. I unconsciously talk like this. When I talk like this, the other person also says the same. I wonder if I smell bad. It's called mirroring, which we do unconsciously, but even though I'm doing it myself, when the people around you see you doing this, they gather evidence that confirms, I really do smell. Just watching a video won't fix it. You need to properly attend treatment for bad breath. So what does that mean, this thing called bad breath? That's bad breath treatment. I was doing bad breath treatment myself. 90% of it will be about the mental state of those who don't have any odor. It's quite surprising. Whether you go to a university hospital, no one has bad breath. It was measured with a 1,000,000 yen machine. This is always calibrated. Calibration is something that is always referred to as calibration, sending machines once a year or so. We check whether there is a proper smell down to 1 in a million. Even if it doesn't come out in the places doing that, I don't believe it. Is it such a deep-rooted problem since I'm making myself guilty? It's a deep-rooted issue. And the teacher I learned from is Mr. Honda. I think there is a treatment called Honda's halitosis treatment available nationwide. Although it's not done at Tsukimi Dental Clinic, it will be quite a challenging treatment. It's the one doing it, you know. No matter what, the other person just won't be convinced. When we go, just getting close like this. I originally had bad breath myself. So I became overly conscious of it and started to notice my own bad breath. My wife tells me it smells. It's a cycle. In that cycle, I make sure to eat breakfast properly. There are various last resort measures, though. There are products for bad breath like that, huh? It's also a disinfectant. So it's not something you use continuously. Even if you use things like that, it won't eliminate your bad breath. Products that claim to eliminate bad breath are not effective. It's mouthwash. Mouthwash containing alcohol is not good. So please use floss instead. Dental floss and interdental brushes are very important. Please also treat the cavities. If there is inflammation, please address it. And it's the pH of the saliva. Please also have the pH of the saliva measured. There is a method where you take 2 cc of saliva to check the pH. Saliva also changes over time. I believe that proper. Counseling for bad breath treatment is still being done. I haven't done it for over 10 years myself. There is something called bad breath treatment. I haven't received a single penny, but it's actually wonderful. It's rare to see someone cry at the dentist, though. When treating halitosis, many people cry as well, but there are very few places that actually take the time to do it. Regarding what is commonly referred to as olfactory reference syndrome, I almost always feel the smell myself and wonder why I feel overly sensitive and feeling it too much is what causes the problem. In that case, there is no smell in the mouth, but it remains inflamed, so there is definitely a sticky feeling. Since it's in the mouth, there is discomfort, and I perceive that discomfort. In conclusion, measure the bad breath with that large machine or ask my 3 family members. If someone says your breath smells bad and you insist it doesn't, there is a very high possibility of having olfactory reference syndrome. If someone says it smells, then there is indeed an odor. Family members can also detect the smell. Also, gestures that others actually point out are not good. Gestures are a reflection of myself. So if I think something smells bad, I will definitely act this way. Therefore, anyone will definitely act this way as well. There are many people looking for mirroring. So, while bad breath treatment, I don't think there are many YouTube videos discussing this. I was working as a specialist in bad breath, and now I can share information on YouTube. So I'm really glad that I could talk about this as well. I'm really struggling in silence. It's a video that can save many people, isn't it? I think there are people who will be saved. But please give up on thinking that you smell. Try measuring with 1,000,000 machines. If we lie about the 1,000,000 machines, after properly investigating, their value will be wrong. We bought an expensive machine for this purpose, so we should make the most of it. So I never lie. Sometimes there are places like dental clinics that offer training. The first thing to do in the morning is to eat root vegetables, eat rice, and produce saliva. Then it's anaerobi. When the tongue is raised and touches the roof of the mouth, it will rub and produce a lot of saliva. If the tongue is raised, can you comfortably say anaerobi about 10 times? It can be done comfortably. Also, all the lymph care we do raises the tongue position. So just lifting the earlobe will also raise the tongue up. Please refrain from consciously trying to place your tongue on the roof of your mouth while remembering that sensation of the tongue. It is ideal for the tongue to naturally be in a position where it is up, and then a lot of saliva starts to come out. I really think everyone can have fresh breath. So please give it a try. How did you like today's video? If you thought today's video was good, please hit the like button. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel yet. Please do so.